Hello everybody, Simon with Quigg Coins and Bullion here, and today I have a couple of older coin books from the early 1910s and 1930s that I want to review with you guys. Just kind of an interesting look into the past about coin collecting and coin pricing and things like that. But share just case updates as well. We'll go over them fast. And guys, just want to mention in the intro here that there's about 80 items on the website total, and I just reduced about half of them. I'm trying to get rid of some of my older stock here, older slabs, things that I've had for a while and that I can afford to offer a nice little discount on that as well. So check out on the website, everything is priced reduced already if this video goes live, and check that out there. Not all the newer items will be available at a cheaper price, but a lot of the older stuff, 2 or 3 months old, I generally flush out when I'm starting to get more things in, just to keep inventory fresh. You know, I'm fine making a little bit if I made more on some other things, and it gives you guys a better discount too. So why don't we wrap this up and we'll look at some of those cool old books. All right, as promised, these are the kind of older coin books that I've picked up over the years. I actually have 2 copies of this one. They are from the same year or same printing, I believe. Conditionally, not super great, but I'm going to run through these, just kind of cover some interesting things on that one and the Rare Coin Encyclopedia. And then this one is just another kind of buyer's book here. Basically, companies would send these out to people and say, hey, this is what we're paying, and you guys can ship them to us and we'll send you some cash. And that's how the coin business was for a very long time. You had people that it's basically just early mail order, so to speak. I'm gonna see if I can get out here so I can get a little bit better angle for these so you can see the tops and the bottoms. But again, conditionally not great, but this book is probably 90 years old, and this one is probably closer to 110 or 120. We'll start with the older one here. Just funny. The coins do not command a premium. You know, any 1878 7 or 8 tail feather eagles, no premium there. You know, Colombian half dollars, no premium. You know, quarters, 5 cents, flying eagle cents, old Spanish and Mexican coins. You know, no value there, guys. But it's just interesting to see that even throughout, you know, coin collecting, you know, like the modern things here would be bicentennial quarters, you know, bicentennial halves, things like that, that, you know, as a coin dealer, I still get in the office. You know, it's fun to look at some of these prices. You know, you got patterns here, you know, 20 bucks for pattern, 45 bucks for pattern, you know, and it's just fascinating to see what this is all about, you know. And this is, you know, from the early 1900s, and, you know, they're talking about seeded Liberty dollars, and this is specimens only, so either proofs or high uncirculated. They're paying a little bit over face value. And it's just fascinating that, you know, Lafayette dollar, $1.20, you know, just crazy, crazy, crazy. Very interesting to flip through these. You can see a lot of these, you know, 1806 flowing hair quarter, you know, 40 cents. And it's just crazy to see some of these old pricing. And you guys are more than welcome to pause and look at the books here as I'm just kind of thumbing through them. You know, 20-cent pieces. You know, they don't even talk about the normal ones, 76S. They just talk about 76 proof and the 78 proof. And that's about it. But that's what it was back then. Dimes here. So the dimes are a little more popular for the older ones, the tougher ones. Then you got cap bust dimes, of course. Half dimes. Imagine buying flowing hair half dime back then. You know, 3-cent silvers. You know, talking about that. And a lot of these are very, very scarce. The Fujio cent, you know, $2.50 on that, kind of crazy. And then for the shield nickels, they really only got proofs in here, and some of the tougher ones. 3 cents proof or uncirculated, they're going to pay you double, 2 times face. Isn't that crazy? But that's the thing. Chain cents, $4 or $5 for chain cent. Crazy, crazy. And of course, a lot of these have foreign coins as well. So we'll power through here. We got some more gold coins, and that's where some of the more money is. Obviously, it's more money, but remember, guys, back at this time, gold coinage was still circulating. So they're paying you $12 for your 1,800 $10 gold eagle. That's crazy that you're getting just such a small premium, 20%. But that's how things were. I can imagine that there was a lot more out there back then, but really, nothing, way like infinitesimally more out there than there are today. I'm sure a lot have been destroyed, melted, etc. And we can see that in the pop reports. Stella's $30-$40, $3 for $3.60. Capped bust half equals for $6. It would be crazy to be a collector back then, but it also, remember, guys, this is kind of have to take into account for inflation, and a lot of this stuff, you're only making probably $10 a week or something like that. So it was a lot of money, but money stretched a lot further. Gold dollars, and they only mention Philadelphia in here because they have a separate section in the back for the mint marks. So you got your New Orleans, San Francisco, of course your Carson Cities. Carson City seeded dollar from 1870, $1.50. Some of those are extreme rarities these days. D and C mints, tougher Philly gold, and of course you got the CSA $half. Those are like extremely rare. Pattern pieces, and they talk a little bit about foreign gold, but just wanted to kind of share these books with you. I want to run through this one too, but it's just very, very interesting insight on collecting and how things kind of operated back then. And I believe this one is from the 20s and 30s, and this is a little more interesting because they have these plates here, so you can actually see some of the coins that they're talking about. Talking about some of the technical terms, and a lot of this stuff has not changed, which is interesting, But there's poor, there got a lot more technical, mutilated coins, poor, fair, good, fine, which is crazy because this is like, the first 15 grade points, and then you go from fine to uncirculated, which is just interesting that there's nothing between, basically pretty well worn out to perfect. Parts of a coin, restrikes, United States copper coin. Interesting Flying Eagle cents. Could buy the...
Hi.
All right, sorry about that. I had someone stop in and sell me a few things. We'll probably cover those in a later video this week, some of the new stuff that I've been buying, but we'll continue with just kind of going through here, talking about the proof Flying Eagle cents. Even in uncirculated condition, 5 to 10 cents each, which is just crazy for something like that. Got some very cool, pardon me, book is not in great shape. Finishing with the cents here. Of course, they have these really, really cool printing plates there. $3-cent pieces. What they're paying 5 to 15 cents each for proofs only. So that's something to really consider there. Just something fascinating. And of course they got the 2-cent pieces, 2 to 10 cents. You know, even though this coinage has been discontinued, they're still not very expensive comparatively. And here they don't even mention the width or the large and small motto for 64s. $3-cent silvers, barely over face value there, and for the most part proofs only. Half dimes, $1 for 1794 half dime. I'll go through some of these, get to some of the more interesting types. 20-cent pieces, they've got the $50 octagonal slugs there. Very cool, and of course they have a description. And then you've got some of this California bullion. We will pay from 10% to 500% premium on the silver and gold. Isn't that crazy? That has not changed at all comparatively. Isabella paying quarter to 30 cents each. Crazy, crazy. Looking at all the commemoratives here. And they also cover a ton of California and other issued gold. These are $1 gold coins there. A little bit more value from the last book. Commemorative gold there. Not too much crazy premium. Quarter eagles still have actually gained quite a bit of value compared to the last one, the last book. Big money for the D's mints, of course. $3 golds. Hardly any premium there, 3 1/4 to $5, depending on how nice it is. Stellas. Imagine picking up a Stella for 25 bucks back in the day. Granted, this is what they're paying. You would have to order basically their catalog, but this is what they're paying, so they're probably going to mark it up a quarter or 50 cents or something like that. No, it's still crazy though. $20 golds, paying barely over face value. And then there's a ton, like I said, private issue gold here. And this is crazy because, you know, this was a ton of money back then, but I'm sure it's 100x what it is now for some of that stuff. At least 10x. California gold. And they go through all, which is really nice just to go through all of the various Utah, Mormon gold, Oregon gold. And these are incredibly rare. Just very tough to find. Carolina gold pieces, and they also have all these cool plates talking about Greek silver coins, and they have the fronts and the backs, and you know, just very educational on that kind of stuff. Breeze through more, going through the CC dollars. Again, prices have not changed much on some of this stuff from the last early 1900s compared to 1920s and 30s. New England colonial coinage. Get the pine tree shillings. Let's see. And they go through some foreign stuff. And they talk about values of foreign silver and gold and what they'll pay you for. Now it would have been super interesting back in the day to find basically for gold or silver value some of those very old you know, cob coins whether it's gold or silver. There's another thing. I want to see it's a little bit back here. I just breezed past you. This chart here, I found this fascinating, so we can look at this. So talking about mintages and things like that, when things were started and ended for each of these. And then there's things which it's just so funny. Colombian quarters, 20-cent pieces, Colombian half dollars. Just things that, people may have seen circulating back then. Even the Lewis and Clark dollars, things like that. And we'll go to the last couple of pages here. I'm actually going to switch books because that one's a little tough to grab with the binding. This one's in a little bit better shape, at least for the interior. On the back here, so they talk about stamps. Very interesting. Not much going on with stamps these days. I know stamp collectors that use those old stamps, and they just use them to ship things, basically, if it's not worth more than face value. And then, of course, they're selling coins to you, so you can have this special offer for all these coins for $11.25, trade dollar, Liberty seated dollar, Colombian half dollar with lettered edge, half dollar over 100 years old, etc., etc., etc. Very, very interesting. Old banks and bills, selling you fractional currency for $1.50, selling you some odd denomination things for $8.50. And then they, of course, you can mail this in and get for 10 cents a copy of their retail catalog. Very, very interesting. And you could buy 100 different foreign copper, nickel, and silver coins for $4.50. Just send the money over. Just fascinating. Buy some California gold pieces, buy some ancient coins, but just wanted to share this with you guys. It's part of coin collecting that I really enjoy is the literature, as I've discussed before. I'll probably do another one looking at my 40s, 50s, and 60s books, but I just wanted to share. I thought this would be fascinating, and it's always interesting to look at how things, prices change and conditions change, and it's just very fascinating to learn about the older part of the hobby. So we'll wrap this portion up, and we'll get right into the giveaway now. All right, everybody, so let's get into the giveaway. For today, we have a couple of rolls from the bulk wheat sets that I had purchased. Nice for someone to collect or give to grandkids or nephews or nieces, things like that. Always nice to do. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe to be entered into each of the giveaways there. We are rapidly approaching 1,800 and then subsequently 2,000 subscribers, so thank you guys for the support there. You can check out my website, Instagram, Google, eBay, etc. on the drop box here on the front or in the description of each of the videos. As I mentioned in the beginning of the video, a ton, about half of the inventory that I had has been discounted, so you can check that out on the website. Remember, you can also purchase things directly from me for 4% discount from the website as well. So a lot of old overstock things have been reduced in price, so check those out and reach out to me if you want to get an extra 4% off through direct purchase. All right, check me out on eBay. Lots of stuff going up every single Friday. Auctions start at end at 8 p.m. on Fridays, so check me out there. Instagram, follow me there. Lots of behind the scenes things, flash sales, day in the life of all that fun stuff there. So let's get into the giveaway now. Grab those comments. 46 comments, guys. Thank you. All right. Edward, you're the winner. Reach out to me for proof of subscription, and we'll get you squared away with the giveaway. Thanks so much, guys. Have a good day now. Bye-bye.